I'm Ben Meyer.
And I'm Rob Wright.
And this week we wanted to talk about a few titles that have fallen under the radar a little bit in 2008. There's been obviously a lot of big name titles, GTA 4, StarCraft later this year, Metal Gear Solid 4. You know, a number of titles. But there have been some new IP that, because of all these big names, have kind of fallen under, and we wanted to give them a little bit of shine.
Yes.
So what's first on your list?
The first one on my list is Dead Space. I think probably people have maybe heard the name in passing, but there hasn't been a whole lot about this game, you know, out there that people are talking about. It's a science fiction themed survival horror game that basically takes place in outer space. You're on a deep space mining ship that becomes infested with a bizarre alien race called the Necromorphs. Now, I don't know what the Necromorphs are. I don't really care. The trailer looks freaky, and apparently the game, it's a third-person game, and it takes its sort of inspiration from movies like Alien, The Thing, two of my favorites, by the way, and more recently the movie Event Horizon.
Right.
Which was
I didn't see that one.
I thought it was a pretty cool movie, actually. This game's developed by EA Redwood Shores, and like I said, I think it's got some promise to it. And it's weird. It's flying under the radar. But there's some cross-promotion going on with it, some interesting cross-promotion. There's a new comic book series based on the game that's out, and there's also a full-length animated movie.
Like for theatrical release?
I don't know if it's theatrical, I don't know if it's going to be coming out on video, but it's being developed, and it's supposed to coincide with the game's release, which is later, I believe, around Halloween, appropriately timed. So it's coming out on the PC, the Xbox 360, and the PS3. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Good to see some stuff happening for the PC still.
Yes.
And speaking of the PC titles, the next one we got on our list is World Shift. This is a PC-only title. That probably one of the reasons it hasn't gotten a lot of promotion is because it's from a Bulgarian development company, Black Sea Studios.
Yeah.
And it's a sci-fi RTS. We're going to go out on a limb and say maybe it could be the next Sins of a Solar Empire, perhaps.
Could be.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
It looks really cool. It's got an interesting premise. It's set thousands of years in the future. You know, most of the world, humans have been wiped out by, you know, apocalyptic events, and there are these three factions, humans, tribes, and the cult, and vying for control, you know. But what really makes this title interesting is that they've added a lot of kind of MMO-style gameplay to an RTS, a lot of co-op gameplay, a lot of modified factions, and that sort of ability to really control a lot of what you're playing with. So that it could be a really, really interesting title if it's executed right.
For sure. And I guess the beta had just closed. And
this one's out. I think relatively soon.
Q2, sometime this spring. So another title that's coming out this year that I think has a lot of promise. I mean, we talked about this in the most anticipated games for 2008 video. I gave a shout out to this. Brutal Legend, which is from Tim Schafer, who game fans will probably know is responsible for great titles like Full Throttle, Grim Fandango, and more recently Psychonauts, which I really loved. Brutal Legend is a weird game. It's probably one of the more original games that we'll see this year. The story is about a heavy metal roadie who is voiced by Jack Black, who becomes, I guess, accidentally transported to a alternate dimension where it's based on heavy metal and Nordic mythology, which is really strange. But demons have enslaved the human race, and here comes Jack Black's character to save them. Sort of blending humor and melee combat and sort of a third-person adventure that's become Tim Schafer's style.
School of Rock meets Beowulf.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. All right. Okay.
All right.
You know what's interesting too is that they have they have some heavy metal icons in the game that are going to be playing some characters. Rob Halford from Judas Priest, Lemmy from Motorhead, and there's like new music too. There's you gotta have heavy metal music. So there's Black Sabbath, Wolf Mother, Ronnie James Dio.
Yeah, wow. So obviously the music's going to be key.
Yeah.
it's cartoony looking, very stylized.
Yeah. The only bad thing is it's console only, but it's coming out later this year. So
hopefully the gameplay will live up to all the. So I mean, it's kind of weird that one doesn't have more attention because it's a console title and it has all these celebrities. But, But comedy and action, they just have
comedy and combat. I don't know. I guess so.
Another title we got out there for the console, unfortunately, is Fracture, which probably would be getting more attention were it not for LucasArts' other big title, Star Wars Force Unleashed. But the cool thing about Fracture is that it has a lot of the same technologies as Force Unleashed. It features some really interesting gameplay and weapons. Most notably, what they call environment deformation weapons, which are kind of like you can make little mini earthquakes and tremors in the world. And the story's kind of interesting too. It's another kind of post-apocalyptic scenario where America's been divided into two parts, literally down the seam of the Mississippi, and the left coast and right coast are fighting each other. And I don't know, the graphics look really cool, and it's kind of a mirror image of some of the force powers from the Force Unleashed.
Yeah, the way you're able to
weapons.
Create these holes in the ground or raise the ground, and tectonic grenades, things like that. I got a chance to see it at E3 last year, and more recently again at GDC, and it looked brilliant. It looked like the gameplay could be really fun.
And it's actually coming out, I think, before Force Unleashed this summer. So look out for that.
Yeah. And last title we want to talk about is, and this is a weird one because I guess you wouldn't expect a Valve title to be flying under the radar, especially with all the success that they've had recently. It's Valve's only title for 2008. But it has kind of flown under the radar. It was originally developed by Turtle Rock Studios, which Valve acquired, but Left 4 Dead, which, we haven't really heard a lot of people talking about this yet, probably because there's not a lot of trailers and gameplay videos and stuff like that, and people haven't had a chance to sit down and play it yet, but it looks really promising because it's another horror survival game. First-person shooter blend that basically it's predicated on co-op and multiplayer, which I like. It takes place sort of in a zombie apocalypse invasion, and there are 4 human characters that you can play who are trying to survive the zombie attack. You can also play as the zombies, which is interesting. So you get together with friends, and some can play but not like the slow-moving zombies. I think it's like the fast-moving zombies. Have you seen the video? I mean, it's kind of like 28 Days Later, or like the new remake of Dawn of the Dead, which I kind of like.
Everything is over-caffeinated this days. Back in the day, the zombies were all slow. Now zombies are fast.
Tearing off like Olympic sprinters. But yeah, I mean, Valve is on a roll right now, so I expect this title to be pretty strong, and the multiplayer aspect of it is very intriguing. Coming out on the PC and the Xbox 360, it's supposed to be fall, winter of this year. Hopefully it's not going to get delayed, but knowing Valve's track record.
Yeah, Valve tends to, and then that's probably could be one of the reasons why it hasn't been promoted as much as a Valve title, or the only Valve title of 2008 would be. Lastly, we wanted to cover a couple of titles that weren't original IP, so they didn't make our main list, but are sequels and probably should be getting more attention than they are. And the first one is Project Origin. This is the sequel to Fear. I don't know if you have any Fear fans out there, but it looks like it picked up right where it left off. And great gameplay, shooter gameplay, that eerie, creepy world, out of focus look, and a lot of dark caves and dark alleyways, and it looks like a lot of fun.
And it's sad though that that they couldn't use the original Fear name. Monolith, the developer behind Fear, the first Fear title, they don't have the name rights to Fear, so they had to name it something else. Which I know, it's really strange. It's too bad, but another game that does retain its sort of original title, but I think maybe it's a little bit misleading for people, is Stalker Clear Sky, which I got a chance to play, and I talked about this before, but a chance to play at E3 last year. I was blown away. I couldn't believe how different this game looked compared to the original Stalker. It's actually a prequel, and it's a full game. I think people maybe are under the assumption that it's going to be, I guess, it's expansion pack. Maybe it's not going to be a full game because it's coming out so close on the heels of the original Stalker, but it's a full game. It's a prequel. It's going to tell the story of the events leading up to the original Stalker, and the graphics, which I had a problem with the first title. The graphics for this one look really good. I mean, just completely different. Like, they've gotten a major upgrade. So I had a lot of fun playing at 83, and I'm definitely looking forward to that when that comes out in the fall. So, yeah, or August, actually.
So a couple more to look forward to. That's all the time we have for this week. I'm Ben Meyer.
And I'm Rob Wright.
And we'll see you again next time.